Are you waiting right now? Waiting for a message, for a job offer, for a sign, for your life to finally begin? What if I told you that this uncomfortable, silent space isn't a pause button on your life, but is, in fact, the most important part of it? Our modern world has taught us that waiting is weakness, that to be still is to fall behind. But the wisest spiritual traditions teach the exact opposite, that the power to simply wait, without anxiety and without grasping, is one of the greatest superpowers you can ever develop. Imagine a caterpillar in its chrysalis. To the outside world, it looks like nothing is happening. It's just waiting in the dark. But inside, a silent, profound miracle is unfolding. What if this period of waiting in your own life is your chrysalis? And what if you're trying to break out before your wings are even ready? Have you ever felt like you're living in life's great waiting room? Stuck in a quiet, undefined limbo, waiting for something to change, something to arrive, something to truly begin. Maybe you're waiting for an answer from a loved one, a call back for a job that could change everything, a relationship to heal from a deep wound, a diagnosis from a doctor, or maybe you're just waiting for that elusive moment when things will finally click and make sense. In that space between what was and what's next, there is often nothing but a profound silence. No clarity, no map, no sense of control. Just waiting. And in that waiting, our minds can become a battlefield. We worry, we grasp, we replay scenarios, we feel an overwhelming urge to do something, anything, to fill the deep discomfort of not knowing. But what if waiting itself is a sacred and necessary part of the journey? What if this quiet, uncertain space you're in right now is not a punishment, but a doorway to a deeper part of yourself? In this video, we will explore why waiting is not wasted time, but one of the most spiritually transformative acts you can ever experience. Guided by the timeless insights of Buddhism on patience, surrender, and impermanence, we'll uncover the hidden wisdom in slowing down, in being still, and in not rushing to fix what isn't yet ready to bloom. By the end of our time together, you may begin to see this period not as a void to be endured, but as a sanctuary for your own becoming. So, take a gentle breath, settle into your space. Let's explore the sacred art of waiting and discover how true peace begins in the very space we've been taught to avoid. 1. The culture of now and why waiting feels so hard. Let's be honest about the world we live in. It worships at the altar of now. We are surrounded by a culture that celebrates speed above all else. Instant replies, next day shipping, productivity hacks designed to shave seconds off our tasks, and a grind culture that tells us sleep is for the weak. We are taught from a very young age that to wait is to fall behind, that if we are not constantly moving, producing, and achieving, we are losing the race of life. But real life, the life of the human heart and soul, does not move at the speed of a push notification. Some things, the most meaningful things, unfold on their own mysterious and sacred timeline. Healing a broken heart, growing into your life's true purpose, rebuilding trust after it has been shattered, awakening spiritually, These profound processes cannot be hacked or hurried. Buddhism offers a powerful antidote to this cultural impatience. It teaches the concept of khanti, often translated as patience, but it is so much more than that. It is one of the paramitas, or perfections. It is a noble strength, the active, courageous ability to remain open and still amidst profound discomfort. In the Dharmapada, the Buddha says that patience is the highest form of spiritual discipline. Why? Because to wait without bitterness, without grasping, without frantically trying to escape the present moment, takes more inner courage than most of the busy actions we fill our days with. When we are forced to wait, we come face to face with our inner demons, our impatience, our deepest fears, and our desperate craving for control. We are forced to confront a simple truth. We hate uncertainty. We despise not knowing, but here is the great paradox. Rushing often delays the very peace we so desperately seek. It is like pulling at a flower bud to force it to bloom, only to destroy its petals, or tearing open a cocoon to help the butterfly, only to prevent it from ever flying. Real growth, real clarity requires time, trust, and the gentle embrace of the unknown. Waiting is not inaction, it is a deep, profound inner activity. It is the sacred space where unseen transformations quietly occur. 2. Seasons don't rush, and neither should we. Take a moment and look at the natural world. It is our greatest teacher in the art of waiting. Nothing in nature ever hurries, yet everything is accomplished. The mighty oak trees do not strain and struggle to force their leaves to grow. The moon does not rush its journey across the night sky. A caterpillar does not panic inside its chrysalis, demanding to know when it will be finished. Nature, in its infinite wisdom, trusts the process, and yet, when we find ourselves in one of life's transition periods, we so often resist. We judge ourselves harshly. We say, I should be further along by now. Why hasn't this happened yet? Everyone else seems to be moving forward, but I'm stuck. But what if what looks like stillness from the outside is actually the most crucial phase of your becoming? Think of winter. To the hurried eye, it's a season of nothingness, even of death. The trees are skeletal, the ground is hard and unyielding. A deep silence hangs in the air, but beneath that frozen surface, a profound and sacred work is being done. Roots are growing deeper, searching for nourishment. Energy is gathering, the earth is resting, preparing for the glorious renewal of spring. Your life has seasons, too, and your personal winter, though uncomfortable and isolating, is not a mistake. It is a vital and necessary part of the cycle. In Buddhist teachings, there is a concept for this deep acceptance, tathata, all suchness. It is the ability to see and accept things just as they are in this moment, without layering on our judgments or demands. When you can embrace the season you are in, even if it's a silent winter, even if it hurts, you stop fighting a useless war against life itself. You stop saying, I need this situation to change in order for me to be okay. And you begin to say, I am here, now, in this season, and that is enough. Waiting, then, ceases to be an obstacle. It becomes the path itself, a path of trust, of ripening, and of acquired, unshakable strength. So if you are in a winter right now, know this: you are not failing, you are not stuck, you are becoming free. What we miss when we rush through uncertainty, when we are caught in the uncomfortable grip of uncertainty, our first instinct is to escape. We want to fix the problem, make a decision immediately, or simply run away from the feeling. We scroll endlessly on our phones. We distract ourselves with noise. We lose ourselves in fantasies about what's next, all in an effort to avoid the raw, undefined reality of the present moment. But in doing so, we miss the very gift that is being offered to us. The Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. Waiting is one of the few experiences in modern life that forces us into this state of presence. Because often, there is literally nothing else to do but be, and in that profound stillness, when we finally stop running, our deeper truths begin to surface. Perhaps we finally feel a grief we have been avoiding for years. A deep-seated fear that needs our kind attention, a secret longing we have never dared to voice, even to ourselves, or a new sense of direction that we could never have heard through the constant noise of our busy lives. Uncertainty is not empty, it is pregnant with clarity, just waiting for us to be still enough to receive it. There is a beautiful story in Zen about a young monk who asked his master, "What is the path to enlightenment?" The teacher simply replied, "Everyday life is the path." We often want the entire map, the next 10 steps, to appear before we are willing to take the one step that is right in front of us. But sometimes, the next step is to wait, to stay, to listen more deeply, because the answers we so desperately seek are not always out there in the future. They arise from within the stillness. They arise when we finally stop demanding clarity and start becoming quiet enough to hear it. 4. The ego hates waiting, but the soul grows in it. Let's be completely honest. Waiting brings up a tremendous amount of discomfort for our ego. The ego is our inner project manager. It has a timeline, a spreadsheet, and a list of goals. Waiting is a glitch in its system, an infuriating delay. It whispers toxic stories into our ear. You're being left behind. You're not good enough. You're wasting precious time. The ego wants control. It demands certainty. It craves progress, and it wants it now. But your deeper self, your soul, your true nature, doesn't operate on the ego's frantic schedule. The soul is not afraid of slowness. It values depth over speed, presence over performance. In Buddhism, this tension is understood through the teaching of anatta, or no fixed self. The ego wants to build a solid, finished, and impressive identity, a successful person, a healed person, a person who has it all figured out. But the path of waiting gently dissolves that rigid illusion. It reminds us that we are not a finished product. We are a process. We are not a statue. We are a river. And in that process, you are allowed to not know. You are allowed to not have it all together. You are allowed to not be at the end of the story yet. There is a sacred humility in being able to admit, I am in the middle of the story, and I don't know what happens next. Spiritual maturity isn't about having all the answers. It is about having the patience and the trust to let life reveal them in its own perfect time. There is a sacred humility in admitting, I am in the middle of my story, but knowing this is one thing. How do we learn to live there peacefully? How do we actively cultivate this sacred patience and turn the discomfort of waiting into a profound spiritual practice? That is where we will journey next. We left off in that tender, vulnerable space of acknowledging that we are in the middle of our story. Not the end. This is where the ego resists, but the soul begins to truly grow. But how do we learn to live there with grace instead of anxiety? How do we actively transform waiting from a state of passive suffering into a profound spiritual practice? It begins by understanding what is truly happening within us during this sacred time. Think of a powerful river. When it rushes fast and shallow, it merely skims the surface of the earth. But when it flows slowly, with deep and steady intention, that is when it carves the most magnificent canyons. Your period of waiting is this slow, deep river. It is not a detour from your path. It is the very force that is carving something beautiful and enduring within you. It is carving a new kind of strength, one born of stillness, not struggle. It is carving a softer, more compassionate heart, one that has learned empathy through its own vulnerability, and it is carving a deeper wisdom that could never be learned from books or lectures. A wisdom that your impatient ego could never grasp. So, let yourself be shaped by the waiting. Let it teach you the things that busyness never could. Because the truth is, when the future you are waiting for finally arrives, you will look back and realize it was never really about the outcome. It was always about the person you became in the sacred space between. 5. From resistance to reverence, a new way to wait. So what if, right here and now, we chose to change our relationship with waiting entirely? What if we shifted our perspective from seeing it as a punishment to be endured, to seeing it as a sacred space to be honored, not something to just get through, but something to learn from? Let's talk about the practice of reverent waiting. This is a mindful, open-hearted way to meet the great unknown. It doesn't mean pretending you enjoy being in limbo or suppressing your feelings of frustration. Not at all. It simply means shifting your inner posture from one of clenched resistance to one of gentle curiosity. Instead of asking the victim's question, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking the student's question, "What is this moment asking of me?" Instead of desperately pleading, "I need answers now," try gently affirming, "For now, I only need presence." In the Satipatthana Sutta, one of his most important teachings, the Buddha guides us to observe our inner and outer experiences without attachment and without aversion. This is the practice of equanimity. It is the ability to be the calm, spacious sky that holds all the weather of your life, the sunshine of joy, the storms of fear, the clouds of uncertainty, without being defined by any of it. When we wait with equanimity, we naturally become kinder to ourselves. We hold our own uncertainty with a profound gentleness. We stop trying to rush what has its own divine and mysterious timing. You can try this in your own life. Right now, Breathe into the pause. The next time you feel that familiar, sharp discomfort of, not yet, simply place a hand on your heart. Say silently to yourself, this is hard, but I am here, I am breathing. Anchor yourself in the small, undeniable certainties. Even when the big questions of your life are unknown, you can trust the solid ground beneath your feet. You can trust the feeling of the air entering your lungs. You can trust the warmth of a cup of tea in your hands. Trust the unfolding. Remember, what is painfully unclear to you now will one day become clear. And the version of you who will meet that clarity is still being forged in the gentle fire of this waiting. 6. Sacred delay. When life makes you wait for a reason. Have you ever looked back on your life with a shudder of gratitude and thought, thank goodness that didn't happen when I so desperately wanted it to? Sometimes, life delays us not to punish us, but to prepare us, to deepen our roots before we are asked to rise to new heights, to align us with something far greater than our unlimited plans. In Buddhism, this is connected to the natural law of karma, but not in the simplistic sense of punishment or reward. Think of karma as the organic ripening of conditions, like a master gardener knowing that some fruits simply need more time on the vine to reach their perfect sweetness and flavor. Rushing the process would only lead to a bitter outcome. In this light, waiting can be seen as a form of grace. It protects us from making premature leaps. It invites us to mature emotionally, spiritually, and energetically, so that when the opportunity does arrive, we are truly ready to meet it. There is a beautiful Zen proverb that says, sitting quietly, doing nothing, spring comes, and the grass grows by itself. Life is always moving, always working, always unfolding, even when, on the surface, it looks completely still. When we resist the waiting, we miss the silent movements beneath the surface, the insight that is slowly growing beneath the confusion, the inner strength that is forming beneath the fatigue, the grace that is being shaped in our silence. You are not behind, you are becoming. You are not forgotten, you are being readied. So if life is asking you to wait, do not rush it, do not resent it, do not check out. Lean in with curiosity and trust, because in the stillness, life is speaking, and sometimes its greatest wisdom is shared in whispers, not in loud, obvious answers. 7. Peace is found in the pause. And so, we return to where we began this journey, that quiet, uncomfortable, sacred space between what was and what will be. What if this very space is where your peace has been living all along? Not in the final arrival, not in the certainty of the answer, but in the soft, courageous willingness to simply be here, now, in the midst of the not knowing. The Buddha said, peace comes from within, do not seek it without. We spend so much of our lives seeking peace out there, in the next job, the next relationship, the next achievement. But the experience of waiting gently but firmly closes all of those external doors and invites us to finally come home to ourselves, to find the source of peace that was within us all along. When we stop our frantic struggle against the unknown, we open our senses to the simple, profound beauty that was always here, the gentle rhythm of your own breath, The way the light falls through the window in the morning, the quiet miracle of simply existing right now. Waiting stops being a burden and becomes your greatest teacher. It teaches you the art of surrender. It teaches you the power of presence. It teaches you the wisdom of trust. This is the sacred art of waiting, not giving up on life, but giving in to life, to its timing, to something deeper and wiser than our own small plans. So the next time you find yourself in that space of not yet, don't panic, don't push, don't flee, just pause, breathe, and listen. You are not lost. You are not falling behind. You are in the chrysalis. You are the river carving the canyon. You are being found. If this reflection has brought a sense of peace to your own period of waiting, we would be honored if you would join our community, subscribe and turn on notifications to continue this journey of finding slowness and depth in a world that moves far too fast. Every comment, every share creates a ripple of peace that reminds others they are not alone in their own waiting. Until next time, may you wait with grace, may you breathe with ease, and may you trust the sacred, perfect unfolding of your life.